most helpful book ever published will teach everyone how nature creates people's personalities, including the new science associated with personality known as Itrendology. What is the meaning of Itrendology? Well, fortunately, and very happily to say, this is the new science of personality known as the field of self-tendency study, or meaning the field of I, or self, trend or tendency, ology, or study, offering suggestions to improve life from direct observations. These direct observations are natural occurring personality patterns which repeat and are profoundly noticed in people's personality over and over again. These patterns are permanent, natural occurring, which show up causing distinction in people. While you can only observe them, they never vanish. You see, nature is known to be associated with patterns of many kinds and in many walks of life, and not only in personality but in other areas of life. For example, to name some, such as in weather like rainbows or lightning, or any natural occurrence that portray certain patterns to exist by nature. Yes, even in personalities. These observed natural occurring personality patterns, which anyone can observe for himself or herself, occur most often enough to consider them reliable trends. The most helpful book ever published will identify them for you, and these personality patterns you will read about will give you the advantage of understanding patterns of people. When you learn about these personality patterns, you will be able to predict how a person is most likely to function in their life. So what are these personality patterns? For example, in one group of people with similar birth date ranges, it was consistently found that they all had a consistent trend of a personality pattern known as a flaw trend that caused difficulty with planning and organizing their life. This resulted in problems achieving their goals. It wasn't until they received assistance from outside sources that their life improved. Rather than attempting to plan and organize the goal themselves, they improved their life by reaching out for other sources of assistance, doing whatever it took, such as a hired professional, a book, a video, a tape, software, or anything that would help them to plan and organize. The difficult part was recognizing the fact that they had this flaw. You see, once you are aware of the consistent flaw trends in your personality, especially about the flaw trends you have yourself, you can counteract them, to help others, giving you the advantage of perfecting your life. Remember this, there is one observation that was found for sure: no matter whom you are, everyone will have consistent trends in their personality patterns. This is a reality in life that nobody can escape. The most helpful book ever published will help everyone to recognize the different consistent trends in their personality patterns which linger among people's personalities. This will result in a better understanding of why people have success or difficulty with life, especially yourself. So why does everybody have these consistent trends of personality patterns discovered by the new science of people's personality known as Itrendology? Thank goodness that this incredible new science now exists. So why is this new science very special? Well, the most helpful book ever published will quickly and simply show you how to let Mother Nature pick your dream mate. That's right, whether you're looking for a date, marriage, or business partner, this book will simply show you an easy technique to find that someone special you are seeking. Now is your opportunity to really understand people so that you can make a pretty good, accurate, and educated guess about others. In no time at all, yes, only in minutes, not hours, or days, or weeks, or months, or even years, may you find yourself investing your time and life on people who may not reciprocate friendship or love. Not because they don't want to, but because nature has other arrangements for them which you need to learn about so that you can understand them better, to at least know what nature has done to them to decrease or increase the odds of forming strong relationships. When you understand nature better, you can understand life better. For example, would it really be wise to fly a kite during an electrical storm? You see, we first have to know what nature is doing before we can make our own plans if we want to increase the odds of our success. This requires education to put the odds in our favor. The most helpful book ever published is a way to put the odds in everybody's favor for many reasons. Maybe it's to be a better parent or husband or wife. It might be to increase business relationships. No matter what the reason is, you want the odds in your favor to be more successful. This book is certainly very informative, and you will learn fascinating concepts to understand people better. This means no more struggling in your life trying to guess what you are good at, who your best companion is, or what career you are cut out for. The entire book is designed for easy comprehension and is very simple. In fact, you won't be reading this material with much labor at all, with mostly short readings. The most helpful book ever published will show everyone how nature creates people's personalities. So, why is this important? Well, imagine trying to figure out someone you don't really know but would like to know. Maybe it's a new friend or business associate or someone you are considering for an intimate relationship. Now ask yourself, if nature is creating everyone's personality, wouldn't it be wise to know what nature does to create a person's personality? After all, what nature does is the final say and nobody can really interfere with nature's plans. It is best to work with nature rather than attempt something that works against nature. You see, the most helpful book ever published is a way to understand what works with nature. It is the means to really understanding people so that you can make a pretty good, accurate and educated guess about others, and in only minutes, not even hours or days. By now it should be very clear that nature is the creator of people's personality and that different personalities are all formed by nature and are important to recognize so that we can see where we fit in with people to increase our odds of success with others. The most helpful book ever published certainly is perfectly named for helping everyone to identify in only minutes how the person we are curious about has been created by nature. Are they different from me? Are they similar to me? This gives us the advantage of having better odds of success with that person. And the person we are curious about could be anybody. A relative, friend, lover, business partner, or even our own son or daughter. You name it, and this incredible book will tell you in only minutes, not even in hours, what your odds of success will be with this person you seek. The most helpful book ever published will teach everyone how nature creates people's personalities. You will learn about the 4 groups of people created every calendar year over and over again like clockwork. So why are there 4 groups? This is a natural occurrence that repeats because there are 12 personalities created in the calendar year. That results in 4 groups forming because 3 of the personalities are similar enough to be placed into groups of 3 times the 4 groups equals or accounts for the 12 personalities in total. You see, these 4 groups of personalities are the designs set up by nature to make each group very distinct. These distinctions form trends which repeat in each group, making them predictable enough to determine how a person is most likely to function. You are going to learn about these interesting observations which anyone can observe for himself or herself, which occur most often enough to consider them permanent, reliable trends. As you read the major trends observed for each group, the major trends you will read about in each group will give you the advantage of understanding the personality patterns of people. When you learn about these trends, you will be able to predict how a person is most likely to function. Of course, this exciting material will arouse your curiosity and you will begin to observe the different personality patterns among the 4 groups, and this will result in a better understanding of people. For example, you will learn about one of the groups that has a strong desire to be in constant contact with living creatures and tends to have pets in their life all the time. In another group you learn about the high emotional level that this group portrays, resembling a strong sense of character and emotions with vivid feelings towards others. Yes, by now you can see there is a lot of exciting material you are going to learn about. The most helpful book ever published will teach everyone how nature creates people's personalities, including the best conditions associated with personality. These are the natural occurring ideal conditions which repeat and are profoundly noticed in people's personality. You see, just as different plants need certain soil and climate conditions to function best, people's personalities are no exception. These best conditions are permanent, natural occurring desires which show up and are most preferred by the different personalities. While you can only observe them, they never vanish. These observed best conditions, which anyone can observe for himself or herself, occur most often enough to consider them reliable trends. The most helpful book ever published will identify them for you, and these best conditions preferred by the different personalities you will read about will give you the advantage of understanding the best condition patterns of people. When you learn about the best conditions of people's personalities, you will be able to predict how a person is most likely to function in their life. To know what they desire the most in life. So what are these best conditions? For example, in one group of people with similar birth date ranges, it was consistently found that they all had a strong desire to be in constant contact with living creatures and tended to have pets in their life all the time. This resulted in fulfilling their life in the most meaningful way. They improved their life by reaching out for life itself, grabbing whatever it took in the way of living creatures like pets, people, wildlife, or anything living. They really considered their best conditions to be interacting with life of all types. This made them very happy, and this was important to discover. You have to know what makes you happy in life. The most difficult part was uncovering what their best conditions were that they desired the most. The problem was recognizing or pinpointing the fact that they had this desire as their best condition. You see, once you are aware of your best conditions, especially about the best conditions you need yourself, you can embrace them, and help others to discover them, giving you the advantage of perfecting your life. To really find what you desire that fulfills you. Moreover, if you observe everyone more closely, even through the generations, you will notice reoccurring consistent trends in people's personality patterns, which is similar to everyone belonging to a certain birth date range that never goes away. A consistent trend by the different personalities that can be regarded as being very special to bring us all fulfillment in life, or that can cause serious obstructions in life. So how can this great work of literature help everyone to learn more about people's personalities? The core or body of this exciting material contains 8 chapters which describe and uncover the unique ways of how nature shapes us in a special way that improves your comprehension of understanding personalities to the point that you really can read people like a book, and in a way like never before. This means you will understand why people act and behave the way they do with their unique habits, all shaped by nature. You will learn about nature's personality factory that creates personalities similar to how an auto factory creates cars. 10 years went into writing this informative material. The official copyright was established and recorded in the United States in the year 2022. This is a very rare original work that can't be found anywhere else. The most helpful book ever published sets an example with the goal and desire to present a great work of quality material in a newly discovered science from the publishing industry to help others gain better health, wealth, and knowledge for a terrific future. This is a rare work that can't be found anywhere else. If you have a hobby or are a professional book collector or are thinking about starting a book collection, you can add value to your collection by collecting this first signature edition offered here. You don't have to read the whole book ever, because you will only be reading the sections which pertain to you, as this will be explained with very easy comprehension to see that you won't be reading with much labor at all, with mostly short readings. You only read what you need. This rare work of literature was written with the following strict guidelines, which were more difficult than any doctor program at any university. First, it must be a new scientific discovery that no mind has ever touched. Second, it must be non-fiction. Third, it must receive an official registration of copyright by the United States government. This book is certainly very informative, and you will learn fascinating concepts to understand people better. This means no more struggling in your life trying to guess what you are good at, who your best companion is, or what career you are cut out for. The entire book is designed for easy comprehension and is very simple. In fact, you won't be reading this material with much labor at all, with mostly short readings. Add the most helpful book ever published to your collection now. P.S. Thomas W. Nt. Searches on Google and Yahoo quickly finds you the most helpful book ever published.